Hey folks, Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to yet another shoot and release video of Bajaj Housing Finance Limited IPO. You might be like, Rachana, what's the matter? These days you are doing a lot of shoot and releases. The point is that it's raining IPOs and that is the reason why I have to, I think that I should cover at least the important ones which people would really want to know about, because again, the same old problem. The IPO runs into like 500, 600 pages and no retail individual investor, I feel, has the time to go through all these pages. So I just try my best to summarize it in like around 10 to 15 minutes video. And because it's a shoot and release video, I may fumble upon something. So please check out the pinned comment and description box below, right? So today we are going to talk about this company. We are going to understand all the basic points, something right from business model to industry analysis to risks to financials, everything, right? So first let's get started. What is Bajaj Housing Finance Limited? The name itself tells us it's a housing finance company. So the name itself tells it, right? But it's a non-deposit taking housing finance company. So basically, they will not ask for deposits. How will they raise money in that case? They can issue bonds, they can issue debentures. That's how they can raise money. And whatever money is raised, out of that, they can lend money. Okay. Now, lend for what? Lend for, it could be purchasing or renovating residential or commercial house properties. Okay. So, or commercial properties basically. So, what are they into? They are into number one, home loans. Number two, loan against property. Number three, lease rental discounting as well as developer financing. So I'll quickly go through them one by one. First of all, they are into home loans. Very simple, right? No need for me to even explain. What could be a loan against property? So just to give you an example, let's say a person wants to renovate his house. For renovating the house, some collateral will be required. Can they offer their home as a collateral for that? Yes, that could fall under loan against property. Number three is lease rental discounting. So if some person wants some money against the future lease rentals that the person may receive, then that sort of lending also is what Bajaj Housing Finance does. And number four is about developer financing. So assume that I am a construction, so I basically construct houses, right? In that case, as a builder also I may need financing. That would be called as a developer finance. Okay, but out of these, where is their major focus? Primary focus is on housing loans. And why do I say that? Reason is very simple. If you have a look at the product segment for 2024, out of the total AUM, which is around 9,13,000 millions, which is 91,000 crores, I'm rounding it off, out of 100%, 57.8% goes to home loan category. So clear cut, it's their focus, home loans. Second highest is lease rental discounting, the point that I mentioned, against future cash flows they may give a home loan. So they may give a loan, sorry. So that would amount to almost 19%. Baki 10%, 10.5% for loan against property and developer finance. Chiller here and there, others would amount to max 2%. Okay, that's how their product segment looks like. And one more important point is that this company has been categorized as an upper layer NBFC by RBI. What do I mean by this? It's an NBFC which could fall under a too big to fail category, and that is the reason why RBI also wants to ensure that these companies, these big housing finance companies, do not fail. And for that, obviously, they are going to put them through more stringent, more strict norms, okay, so that nothing goes wrong. So unfortunately, if something goes wrong, then it would be like jor ka jhatka hai joron se laga. But to avoid that, they put on more stringent norms, and that is why they treat that, classify that as an upper layer NBFC. Now, why I'm saying very big company? So for that, let's have a look at some stats. It's the second largest HFC housing finance company in India with an AUM of, just now I mentioned, around 97,000 crore rupees. Then question is, which is the largest housing finance company? If you know about it, just press pause. Let me know the answer in the comment section. If you don't know the answer, it's okay. In another 3-4 minutes, I'll tell the answer. Okay. Second important point is the second highest profit making housing finance corporation in India. Lowest GNPA, lowest NNPA. It's just 0.28%, 0.11%. Sorry. And so it also has the highest possible credit rating in India, both for long term as well as for short term borrowing program. Now, very important to also understand about the overall industry analysis. If the industry is set to grow, then obviously companies in this space will benefit out of it. It has been mentioned again in their RHP that from 2019 to 2023, the industry grew at around 13.1% CAGR, and it is expected that from 24 to 27, it will grow at a CAGR of 13 to 15%. The same point you can also see in this graph, where the same point that I mentioned, right? 13.1% CAGR and 13 to 15% CAGR. Then what is this chart about? This is about overall NBFCs, and this one is only about housing finance NBFCs. Okay. Now going back, why why is there one more positive point, that even though the CAGR is good, the overall penetration for housing finance, if I were to compare in India with other countries, India is still pretty much low penetration as far as housing finance is concerned, and that is the reason why a lot of headroom is left for any housing finance company in India. Is government also boosting this process? Answer is yes. Everyone knows about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, be it an urban one, be it a Grameen one. In both the cases, there are certain credit linked subsidies so that the overall demand is stimulated, right? Till now, we have talked about all the positive points. Any risks? Yes, of course. Of course, all these risks are also taken from their RHP. This company operates in a pretty much regulated environment. So, be it government, be it RBI, be it NHB, they have a lot of they have a lot of policies basically, right? And if there is a change in any of these policies, if there is a change in incentive structure, it may impact the company, okay? Plus, one more point is that their holding company, Bajaj Finance Limited, it is also engaged in the LAP business, which is the loan against property business, and that is the reason why, because it's a similar line of business, the company has mentioned in their RHP that there is no assurance that conflict of interest will not occur. So, holding company and subsidiary company both are into the same business of LAP. But if you remember, LAP was not their key point. It was amounting to, if I am not mistaken, barely 10.5%, right? Otherwise, major is only housing finance for this company, housing loans. So, okayish kind of risk, okay. What about pending litigations? You can see the amount of pending litigations, but not a big deal according to me. Why? Even if I total up all the litigations against the company, against the promoters, against the directors, all amounts to roughly 1.38% of the total net profit of the company. So, not a big deal per se. Moving on to the financials, if I am talking about the top line, net interest income, it is growing. It has grown from 13,000 millions to almost 25,000 millions from 22 to 24. And if I am talking about revenue from operations, that has also steadily grown at a CAGR of almost 42.2%. If I am talking about net profit margin, that has also seen a steady growth. The only pain point that I see here, be it NIM, be it spreads, both were initially increasing from 22 to 23. It has increased from 4% to 4.5%, but down to 4.1%, and spread also has gone up from 2.8% to 3%, but down to 2.6%. Always remember, be it NIM or be it spread, the thumb rule is higher the better. By the way, I also have my Pro Investor membership. If you go to the membership tab in our website, you will find that we have a Pro Investor membership. In that, I make a sincere effort to educate people around companies which belong to different sectors. And this month's stock of the month is again an NBFC, where I have explained all the terms like GNPA, be it NNPA, be it net interest margin, be it spread. All these concepts have been explained in absolute depth. So, if you want to build upon your knowledge, definitely you can consider enrolling for our Pro Investor membership, right? Now, going back to the financials, talking about the peer comparison, nothing much to be discussed here, only one point. If you remember, I told that this is the second largest. Which is the highest? Highest is LIC Housing Finance Limited, okay. Baki return on net worth criteria, if I check, for Bajaj Housing it's 15.2%, but if I take the average of all these, it's around 15.9%. So, nothing much to be discussed here, to be honest. Even if I am talking about the regulatory requirement, peer comparison, I feel rather than peer comparison, I would go ahead with checking what is the regulatory requirement, what is the minimum requirement as per law, and how much is the company maintaining. So, if I were to talk about CRAR, the regulatory requirement is 15%, company has it at 21.28%. About LCR, which is the liquidity coverage ratio, the regulatory requirement is 85%. For this company, it's 192.31%. And even if it is about principal business criteria, PBC, regulatory requirement is 60%, company 61.43%. All in all areas, they are maintaining the ratio. In fact, they have a slight higher ratio, which is good as far as the if I were to compare it with the regulatory requirement. Question: what is the company going to do with the money that they raise? They are going to use it to increase their capital base, and they are going to use this money for onward lending. Basically, whatever money is received from the IPO, from the fresh issue, a lot of that could be used for further lending. And of course, one of the object of the issue is benefits of listing. Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, both these are like their holding companies, right? In that case, it will be a value unlocking opportunity for the holding companies, and that is one of the biggest benefit of listing for the holding company as well. And of course, a basic brand name building for the entity, which is Bajaj Housing Finance Limited. Total issue is of 6,560 crores, out of which fresh issue is 3,560 crores, offer for sale is 3,000. Now, one question which so many people have been asking me, and that was the reason why I thought of doing this IPO video. Many people were asking me that if we buy the shares of Bajaj Finance or Bajaj Finserv now, will we be eligible to apply from the shareholder quota? Answer is no, because the cutoff date for that was 30th of August. So as on 30th of August, you needed to have these shares in your demat account, then only you will be eligible to apply from the shareholders quota. So what would be the last date for buying in that case? The last date would have been 29th of August, because we have a T+1 settlement mechanism. So if someone would have bought the shares on 29th of August, which shares? Either Bajaj Finserv or Bajaj Finance, either or any of these, on 29th August, then in their demat account, they would have gotten these shares by 30th of August, and that is where they would have been eligible to apply through the shareholders category. Now, if I take my own case, I would want to apply from the shareholders category, assume, and plus also from the retail individual investor category. If I were to do from both these categories, would that be allowed? Answer is yes. You can apply from both these categories. Obviously, you will have to put 2 applications, and which would mean twice the money. Okay, so if I were to apply for one lot, which typically costs around 14 to 15,000, then I would have to have around 28 to 30,000 rupees, because I'll have to put 2 separate applications if I were to apply for this issue. Okay, but again, as I mentioned, if someone wants to put only from either or of the categories, that is also okay. Question: what is the price band? Unfortunately, it has not been announced as I shoot the video, but when the price band gets announced, I will update that in the pinned comment in the description box. Also, I'll update that on our WhatsApp channel. The link of the WhatsApp channel is there again in the pinned comment and in the description box. Well, that was an honest effort from my side to sum up this whole IPO in like what, 14-15 minutes. I'm not sure what is the total time duration, maximum 14-15. I think it's around 12-13 only. Great. I hope you enjoyed this 400-500 pager summary plus IPO RHP summary into a small video. That's my intent, to summarize things for you. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you find value in these videos. If you did, please don't forget to smash the like button. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do that as well. Don't forget to share this video as well. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye-bye.